Hi, guys. Welcome to the Sunday Talk Show. I welcome you all. If you are new to my channel, I welcome you to subscribe if you're returning. Welcome back, guys. Welcome. So, I just want to start off by acknowledging my members of my channel. And my members are Beverly Black, Boss Life Online, Tony Clopton, Melissa King, My Econ, Van Life with Gina, Edward Smart, Tracy Ocean Fire 777, Be Amazing Sylvia, Marlon's Music Channel, Pittsburgh Artist Studio, Pandy's Hair Candy and more, Dunamis Sound Mind Services, Bozo Calvin Jr., and our newest member, Barry Johnson. Welcome, Barry, and welcome everybody else who is a member. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, supporting my channel. So if you would like to join membership on this channel, I would welcome you guys. So I'm just going to turn on my camera and we're going to get started. Yes, guys. Hi. Welcome, guys. How are you? Welcome to the Sunday Talk Show. I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your busy Sunday to spend some time with me. I'm really looking forward to sharing this topic with you. Today's topic is listen to your inner voice. So we're going to discuss that today, and I would love it if you guys would share me out and leave your comments in the comment section, or you're more than welcome to come up on the panel. Yes, guys, so let me look who is in the chat. I welcome everybody in the chat. First in, Paula Benson. Welcome, Paula. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're well. I hope your family is doing well. Yes. Yes, I did not want to miss this one. It reminded me of something a coworker said to me years ago. Okay, Paula. Second in, Donna, just being real. Donna is one of the moderators on this channel. She's an awesome supporter. We've been hanging for a long time. She also has an awesome channel. So if you don't know about Donna just being real, head on over there as well and look at her content. So welcome, Donna. Third in, another one of my moderators, one of my big supporters for my channel, and one of my good friends, Boss Life Online. She has a great channel that talks about, her being a boss, working for herself, working from home. So if you are interested in that sort of content, head on over to Boss Life Online's channel. So welcome everybody who's in the chat. I hope everybody's doing great. Thank you so much for sharing me out and thumbsing it up. Boss Life Online is very much appreciated. Oh, your day is going good. Thank you so much. Yes, and Boss Life Online just put up the link to my channel membership for those who are interested in supporting me that way. We have an awesome time. I have members only videos that is every single Monday. So tomorrow will be a new members only video. So if you're interested, you're always welcome to join. Yes, we are doing A-okay. That's great, Paula. I love to hear that. Yes, Donna, got a smile on your face. I love that. I love to see all my supporters for my channel, that they're doing good, because you guys don't even know I think about you guys, especially when you leave comments on my videos and you say certain things. I do worry about you guys. So just don't think I'm just saying stuff. I really do care about you all. So today's topic is listen to your inner voice. So, do you guys know what your inner voice is? So, I'm going to define that, guys. Your inner voice is also known as your internal dialogue or your inner monologue. It's a language based internal chatter, and it's a result of brain mechanisms that allow you to hear yourself talk in your head. So it's like that conversation that you have with yourself. Okay. So let's get into inner voice. So the question sometimes is asked, do you have an inner voice? What do you guys think? Does everyone have an inner voice? What do you guys think? So, do you tell yourself things like, don't forget the milk before you leave home in the morning? And then when you get home without it at the end of the day, you say to yourself, how could I have done this? Is there a constant talking to yourself throughout the day? A lot of people use language-based chatter to organize and to focus their thoughts. However, it turns out that some people don't have this kind of inner monologue at all. Instead, they rely more on visualization, seeing themselves buying the milk at the store. Other people employ a combination of techniques. So people on both sides of the inner monologue divide. They have a hard time imagining another way of being to the point, of a debate or something like that. So let's go back to where I was before, looking down at my notes, the last conversation that I have. I pull up my notes. Always, all you guys know who are content creators, you guys know about the issues that you have when you're trying to do something. I just had all this stuff pulled up and then it just disappeared. Okay. Then my internet is slow. Okay. Okay, it just came back up. Okay. Okay, let me see what's going on in the comment section. What did I miss? Hey, Kane, welcome. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Let's see what I missed. Yes, the Outstanding Featured Channel Member Show has started. It's a new season. It's season 2. It started today already with Pandy and Sylvia, and I will be at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, followed by Boss Life Online. So Donna says yes. Donna says yes, that we have an inner voice. Paula says yes. Some people have too many. Boss Life Online. It's true though. Some people may have a few things calling them and talking to them. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the inner voice, the 3 types. Let me go back down to my notes. Okay. So in psychology, these different voices are called aspects or sub-personality. Freud, he pointed to these 3 big ones as the ID, the ego and the superego. Okay. Why is it important to look at all of these things? It's important to look at these things because it kind of is like an internal drive. It's like what keeps you going. And I'm going to talk to you about 3 ways to listen to your inner voice and to be happy and successful. So this information came from HuffPost.com. So Shel Silverson says that there is a voice inside of you that whispers all day long, "I feel this is right for me. I know that this is wrong." No teacher, no preacher, no parent, no friend or wise man can decide what's right for you. Just listen to the voice that speaks inside. Part of that I agree with, part of that I don't. I do think it's important to listen when that voice of fear, the inner voice of fear, tells you, because most of the time it's right on point. When something is telling you it's not a good decision, something is not right, a person is not right, a person, when you get those kind of inclinations towards your spirit does tell you something is not right. So in that case, I do believe that. But I do think sometimes our inner voice sometimes is not adjusted properly. And that's sometimes how we can make a bad decision, is we're listening to ourselves. And sometimes we may not have a good information because we're going by emotion. If you're being emotional, sometimes your emotions can take the best of you, and it can cause you sometimes not to make the very best decisions. That's why it's important to not just feel a certain way and just jump into it. It's important to go back to research, to think about things, to pray about it. All of those things are important to making wise decisions so that, your spirit can be in line with that inner voice. So a voice, it seems sometimes that when you're under stress, and it will tell you, that inner voice will tell you, you're working too hard, you're doing too much, you need to slow down, you need a vacation. Those are the inner voices that we need to listen to, because it's going to make you happier, more successful. And also, it's important because your inner voice will tell you when something also is right. It will say, that's a nice person. It talks to you and tells you good, bad, and the ugly. And it's important to also listen to when it tells you, be compassionate to certain people, to listen to certain people. We know when people really are right for us and when people mean the best for us, and we know when they don't. Sometimes we know that something isn't right. We know that something isn't right about a person, but we go ahead anyways because of our feelings. We let our feelings sometimes get in the way and kind of skew our judgment. We have a tainted view of how we think things should go. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Yes, Donna says, you said too many. These people I stay away from. I agree, Donna. There's some people, and I do think sometimes when we talk about the inner voice, sometimes it has a little bit to deal with some people who have some mental health issues, some schizophrenia, bipolar, some kind of where they actually are hearing real voices. The voice I'm talking about is the voice that will tell you, will help you to be able to reason and to make good decisions. So thank you for your comment on Boss Life Online and Donna. Hey, Ruth, welcome. It's so good to see you. I hope you're well and your family. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you being here. And Charlene, hi Charlene, how are you? Welcome. Thank you so much for coming to the Sunday Talk Show. As always, guys, please leave your thoughts and your opinions in the chat. I love hearing what you guys have to say about this. Yes, guys. So back to the commentary, when we were talking about why should you listen to your inner voice, because your inner voice, sometimes it will stop you from making bad decisions. Like back a long time ago, remember there used to be a cartoon, like a good angel on one side, a bad, like a bad one on the other, and one would say, don't do that. That's not a good idea. Do that. You should do it, even though it's a bad idea. So that kind of is more on the lines of your inner voice, because it's telling you, it's kind of like your conscience telling you when things are right, when things aren't. But we can't only go by that. We have to also think, because if we let our emotions get in the way, and sometimes if especially when it comes to romantic relationships, when you like somebody, sometimes you go in with blinders. You're not looking at things the right way because you like this person so much, and you don't want to see everything that maybe other people are telling you, or maybe it's something because we do have the internal ability to feel something inside. When you say something is just not right, I wonder, why do I feel this way? But you ever been around some people and then you say something is just not right, but I cannot put my finger on it, and you can feel it. That is your inner voice. It warns us when we're something is not right, but it also tells us when something is good, like this is a good person, this feels right. But if you start getting those feelings that tells you something is not right, most of the time it's right on point. But we have to learn to listen to it instead of listening to sometimes the things that other people, people may be well-meaning, they may have our best interests at heart, but when something does not feel right inside of you, you have to make good decisions based on the way that you feel sometimes, because other people don't understand, and they're not the one that's going to have to be dealing with the relationship like you will. So you have to think and make good decisions for yourself. Let's see what I missed. Yes, we miss you too, Ruth, so much. It's so good to see you. Yes. Welcome in, Charlene. Charlene also has a great channel, very positive and encouraging. That's great. I love to hear that you and your family are well. Awesome. On the subject about warnings, listening to your inner voice with knowledge is best. Yes, we can't just on the surface say, oh, I think this is a good idea and I'm going to go along with it. You also have to open your eyes and you have to do some research about things. You can't just go by only what you are thinking, what you're feeling, what your inner voice says. We have to make smart decisions. We have to be wise, because guess what? When you make a decision, you can't go back once something is done. So we have to use our knowledge. We have to use wisdom, because, we're smart individuals. We got to use our head in situations. As long as my inner voice is leading me towards a decision or an action that brings me peace, sometimes it's just being critical, right? I agree, Ruth. Sometimes you are critical and you do have to make good decisions. And that's a good point about things that bring you peace, because sometimes when we're making decisions, we're not thinking about things for peace. Some decisions, when you're making them because you just want to be selfish. You think, I want this and I want this for myself. And your inner voice is telling you, hey, something's not right here. Oh, yes, I have that feeling about people. I will say I have that feeling about so many tubers. Oh, something is just not right with that tuber. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Donna. But you do have to listen to that, because it's important to listen to that inner feeling, or the inner feeling, because it will protect us in the future. How many of us sometimes we know something doesn't feel right and then we go ahead and do it anyways, and later on you regret it? You don't want to live with regrets because it does tell you, it's warning you. And most of the time when you get that bad feeling in your gut, it's warning you. It's warning you. So just something to be aware of. Hey, Kim, welcome. It's so good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Welcome in. Kim Savvy, she's where I get my awesome jewelry. Actually, these earrings I got from Miss Kim's Bling Bling. So if you're interested in some nice paparazzi jewelry, you can head over there. You have some tubers that something's just not right about them. I know, Donna. And it just does not feel right. You know what I mean? And I'm not a person to be fake and phony. If I don't get along with somebody, it's just what it is. I'm not going to be mean or nasty, say things behind people's back. I just will be pulling back and pulling away because it's important to protect your mind. It's important to protect your heart and your spirit. Everybody's welcoming in Ruth and Donna. Yes, guys. So let's get back to this discussion here. Let me pull this back up. Okay. Okay. So what does your inner voice tell you to do? It expresses itself in many ways as impulses, as urges, as body feelings, as a sense of knowing what you need to do, as a deep desire, and sometimes as wisdom that can be seen to come from your own physical, beyond your own physical body. And your inner voice, it directs you towards a greater fulfillment in your life. The way a flower turns towards the sun. So, what are some of these fears that sometimes people have, and what are some of the tips? Let me share some with you. Here are 10 tips to show you how to listen to your inner voice. Okay. Number 1, create space in your life and your schedule. When you're running through your days, your mind can race. So make sure you're giving yourself time to slow down. The best way to tap into your inner voice is to create more space between your thoughts so your intuition can get a word in edgewise. So we have to take some time in order for us to slow down a little bit. I think it's so important to unplug because we live in a society where we always are supposed to be plugged in. You're plugged into your phone, social media, everything is always coming at you at the same time. So it's important for yourself to create some space in your life and your schedule just for you. I talk about it all the time. It's self-care, self-love. It is part of what is going to help you to make you feel good about yourself, so that you can continue going. See if I got any comments here. You're welcome, Kim. Thank you, Paula. Welcome, Vernell. How are you? It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, did I miss what you said? Hey, everybody listening to your inner voice, follow your first mind. That's if it's God speaking to you. Don't second guess it. Exactly. So many times we may want to do something, and then, sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but we may doubt. We doubt ourselves. So we doubt what we feel that God may be saying to us, and we say, "Me, and we start having that self-doubt, and start feeling that we're less than, or we're not worthy enough. But you are, and we have to reassure ourselves sometimes, because if God values us, if God sees our worth, we have to also see it. And thank you so much for that comment for now. Yes. So I'm going to get right back to where we are. I'm doing 10 tips for listening to your inner voice. So number 2, practice deep listening. So active listening involves releasing judgment and the impulse to respond. So when someone is speaking, fully tune into what they're saying. When we practice listening to others, we develop the capacity to listen to ourselves. So I'll read that again. When we practice listening to others, we develop the capacity to listen to ourselves. And this is precisely what you need to do to listen to your inner voice and receive the guidance that it wants to offer. So it's a very good lesson for us. When we want to learn how we can work on our inner voice, we have to practice learning to listen. So when you develop your listening skills, and it takes a lot of work, I can't lie to you guys. It is so easy for us. As soon as somebody starts talking, we're already ready to come out of our mouths and say something. We have to learn to pull back and really listen, because sometimes you may be missing out on a lesson or a blessing that's coming to you because you're just ready to respond. So practicing your listening skills is also going to give you an opportunity to learn to work on yourself, so that when you have your own inner voice speaking, you can listen to it, and then you will be able to proceed as to what you want to do next. Let me see what's going on in the comment section. Okay. Yes. So I think I'm on number 3. Yes. Number 3 on how to tips for listening to your inner voice. So number 3, don't neglect self-care. Your own self-care can greatly influence your ability to tap into your inner voice. Simply up your self-care game. You will be amazed at how much more information you receive from your inner voice. So we have to understand that when we start taking care of ourselves, doing more things for ourselves, and I'm not saying men don't have the problem, but usually it's women. We have more problems taking some time out for ourselves. We do so much for others. We are there for our in our romantic relationships, whoever we're with our family members, our friends, everybody on the job. But when are you practicing that own self-care and that own self-love for yourself? Because when you feel good about yourself, you're able to tune in and to really realize what it is that you need and what really it is that you want. So number 4, try journaling in the morning. So it's a practice of journaling 3 handwritten pages in the morning, and whatever comes to your mind, write it down. Usually by the time you get to the 3rd page, your inner voice has revealed clearly what is your direction, where you are at that moment. So I know not everybody journals, and it's not everybody's thing. This is just some recommendations, just some tips to show you how to practice listening to your inner voice. And sometimes until you take some time to be by yourself in the quiet, then that's where you're going to find out how are you doing. because so many of us, we don't take time to focus in on how we are. We're too busy pouring into others and trying to find out what other people need while we are empty inside. So you have to go ahead and fill up your own cup before you can be able to be there to support others. And it's part of self-love, self-care, knowing your worthiness. When you're worthy, you have to learn to appreciate and take some time out for yourself so that you can check in and know how you are. Let's see if I missed any comments here. Let's see. Burnell says, that's so true. My mom tell me that now when I was little. Yeah, I know. Yes, Boss Life Online, self-care is so important. And it doesn't have to be, I think sometimes some people think self-care means you got to have a lot of money, you have to spend. No, self-care is just in your thought process, just taking some time to just unplug, just spend some time by yourself, maybe some time to pray, to meditate, to journal, maybe just to take a bubble bath, or to do something that you like, maybe read a good book, maybe watch a movie, but your own personal time where you can fill up your cup, feel good about yourself. Some people is having that cup of coffee in the morning, the cup of tea, just having those private moments just with you so that you can listen to your own, your inner dialogue, that and have some time to actually listen. What is going on with me? How am I doing? Am I doing okay? And in that quiet time, you get the answer to find out, how really are you? I've realized that I need to do this so much more. I know so many of us, Kim, it's not just you alone. So many of us, you have to tap into some time just for yourself. And it doesn't have to be hours and hours at a time, but 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes every day to just check in on yourself. These are the times I like to just sit and be quiet and just listen to myself. And I ask myself the question, how am I doing? Am I doing okay? Am I loving myself? Am I forgiving myself? Am I walking in the path that God has for me? It's in those times that we check in on ourselves, because guess what? If we don't check in on ourselves, who is going to? Most likely nobody. Yeah, like on the airplane, put on your own oxygen mask first so that you can help others. Right. And so many times, Kim, we don't remember to give to ourselves. We're so busy giving, and doing for other people that we don't take the time to check in on ourselves and do something nice for ourselves. So thank you so much for your comment. Burnell says, it's my thing. Journal all the time. A pound of ink. It's more than a pound of memory. Thank you, Boss Life Online. Yes, I have membership on my channel, and I appreciate all my members, and I would welcome you to join the membership on the Best Life Crew. I have 3 levels, so if you guys ever have any questions, you can reach out to me on Instagram. So the next point is developing boundaries. Oh boy, here we go. This is tips for listening to your inner voice. So how would developing boundaries help us? So boundaries is where we tell people as far as they can go. Say, this is it. You cannot go any further than right here. It's essential to our lives, especially when we're trying to access our inner voice. Nothing will override your inner knowing more than letting other people know your thoughts, demands, needs, desires, and authority override your own. So we have to learn to say no, check in with ourselves before saying yes to anything. So I know I do this all the time. I'll just say, because something sounds good and just jump in, and then later on be like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then you don't want to backtrack. You don't want to backpedal. You don't want to go back on your word. So sometimes a best thing to do, say maybe, or I'll think about it, or I'm not sure yet, or I'll let you know. But don't say yes to something that in your heart you already know it's no. Okay? So when we say yes, we have to say yes and mean it, because it's a place of love, because we're taking care of ourselves, because we're thinking about ourselves, because we're walking in our worth. We don't want to do things that is self-harming to ourselves, because we have really worked on ourselves and we love ourselves, and we're always trying to grow our self-esteem, right? Okay, number 6, learn more about intuition. So we do have a inner voice, that we haven't tapped into, many of us. Many times we hold back from maximizing, our potential, by not having enough knowledge of it. So we have to study, we have to awaken and strengthen our inner voice by getting to know when it speaks to us, like deepening our capacity to receive information. And more importantly, you have to attune yourself to understanding your ways. So what is it that makes you tick? What are the things that you like? What kind of ways do you like to be guided? Some people are people who like to be told what to do. Some people do better by can't say the word, visualization. Oh man, I'm struggling with that word. Visualization. Some people do better by seeing. Some people do better by audio, by hearing. You have to know yourself and how you work. How do you tick? How do you learn best? And that's what you need to learn to use so that you can work on your inner voice. Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Let's see. It's much better than I used to be in saying no to loved ones and friends. I used to feel guilty about it, but I realized that it freed me and I felt better. Exactly. Just like Kim says, so much times, like, why do we feel guilty when it's something healthy for us? But we shouldn't be known as the yes person, because the yes person never is happy. You're always fulfilling other people, but when are you going to go and be fulfilled? Part of saying no is saying yes to yourself. So you have to learn to say yes to yourself. And when something doesn't feel right, when it doesn't fulfill you, it doesn't make you feel good, it doesn't bring about peace in your life, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't want to backtrack, and you don't want to backpedal, and then you don't want to be as a person who's known as the person who says yes and then later on they go back on their word. So just be upfront with people from the beginning. Be your true and authentic self. And I know it takes time. It takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to tell people no sometimes, because in saying no to others, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying, yes, I love myself. Yes, I'm going to make a good decision for me. Yes, that feels good. Yes, it's going to bring about peace for me. So that is all about, your inner voice, walking in your own personal truth. Sometimes I wonder, where do we get that guilt from by saying no to people? I think it's just sometimes, it's part of loving people. We love each other. We love people, and we just want to be there, and we just want to support others. But we also have to learn we got to support ourselves. You got to start with your own foundation. You have to work on your own mind. How is your mind? How is your spirit? How is your heart? Is your heart crushed and broken? You have to learn to fix the pieces of you first so that your foundation is right. You don't want to be rocky and unlevel. You want to make sure you're right up here, and in your spirit. You got to be okay with yourself. You have to be. And if you're not, you can't be fully there for other people. Yes, Charlene. Yeah. Yes, Kim, you have to, when you say no to others, you're saying yes to yourself. It's something that I learned when I was going through therapy, because I used to always be the yes person before recovery, before self-love, before I realized my worth and my value, before I knew I was a treasure, before I knew I'm a blessing, before I know I am whole. Okay, when I step into this world, I had to realize my own value. And when you know your own value and you know your own worth, you have a different walk. You have a different walk, you have a different talk, you have a different path, you have a different way that you act. Before I used to go, he would say things behind people's back. But when you know who you are and when you love yourself, why would I don't want to give out hatred to other people. Just sometimes some things just aren't for me. And that's where everybody has to get on their own. You can't make anybody treat you good. You have to learn to treat yourself good, and then other people will just follow suit. Yes, no saved my life 100%. Because if you're always the person to say yes to everything, you'll just fall down and die one day. You just pass out. You can't be everything to everyone. I think there was a saying one time that I heard before: you can't be everything to everyone. Sometimes you have to be everything to yourself. So when you're everything to yourself, you have to be fulfilled. You have to be happy. You have to fill up your cup. It all has to be present with you first. And sometimes if it's not, you just cannot commit to being there for other people. Yeah. Sometimes it's the way we were raised to never say no. I wonder about that sometimes, Paula, because I used to hear my family say, my mom say no all the time. I think I got that more so from my dad. My dad was more the yes person. So I may have got a little of that from my dad, but I always have felt guilty my whole life until I realized my potential and my worth and my value. And because we are valued first by God, God values us. So we have to value ourselves. It's a mirror image. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, we have to see ourselves as God sees us. And if we look at ourselves and we see ourselves as valued by God, it should be a reflection. Now, because I'm valued by God, now because I value myself and know my worth, I have to stand in that and treat myself good. And that means saying no. So sometimes when I'm struggling to say no to things, I have to get back to that analogy of looking at myself in the mirror and valuing myself. And you have to value yourself. So I value me, and this doesn't feel right to me, so it's going to be a no. Thank you so much for that comment, Paula. Yes, you have to, Charlene. You have to. Boss Life Online, I think that guilt comes from a history of people showing us their dissatisfaction or disappointment, or seeing how they may treat us differently. We have to get beyond that. Yeah. You have to get beyond that, and you have to be able to be okay with people being upset with you. That was another thing that was a problem for me. Like looking at people and seeing them feel, that look of disappointment, that look of, sadness. I have to be okay with that, because sometimes when you love yourself, saying yes to yourself allows you to say, I'm sorry, but I have to fill up my cup. And sometimes people don't understand that. Sometimes you just are doing the most and you need to pull back and focus in on yourself. And people who really love you and care about you will understand that you need to unplug, or something just doesn't feel right for you. People who really love and care about you will support you in the things that you need to do. Thank you for that comment, Ruth. Study yourself and know when something is overwhelming and stop before you get triggered. Yes, Renata, I will say that too. We have to realize our triggers. There's some things that set us off. Do you know what your triggers are? What makes you get upset? What makes you get sad? What things set you off and tick you off? You got to know all of those things. You got to know all those things. Know yourself. And when you know somebody is getting to that point, you got to learn to stop it before you get to that. You say, okay, that's enough. That I've heard enough. I don't need to hear anymore. Don't allow people to put you all the way to 10. Stop them way before you get to the edge and blow up at people. You don't want to be known as a person to blow up. You want to be a person to know their limits and know when they've had enough and stop right there. That's part of loving yourself. Yep, give me instructions and tell me what to do. Right? I think the hardest people to say no to are the people you've always said yes to. I'm working on saying no to my adult son. I know I have to in order to help him too. Yes, it's something that we have to learn to teach people independence. We have to teach people, we have to teach people to learn to make decisions on their own, because if we always constantly do it for them, we always give them the answer. If you're not giving people an opportunity to love themselves, you're not giving them an opportunity to be independent, to love themselves, to figure things out. All of that's part of independence, and we have to set those boundaries. Like, I'm doing this because I care about you. I'm doing this because I know you can do it. You have to give people room to grow, and you are hindering people's personal growth when you don't allow them to do so. Thanks for that comment, Kim. I know you can do it. And that guy direct you and what to do for someone. That way you won't feel guilty because God told you to do that for them. Learn how to let God speak to you for helping others. Right for now. It's hard to get in tune with that voice, but the more that we start tuning in to, what are our limits, what are our boundaries, learning to say no, taking time to sit and be still and be able to hear what's going on, filling up your cup, listening to all those, that inner voice telling us, I need to do this, I should do that. When you take time by yourself in self-reflection, is when you're going to learn and you're going to find out what you really need to do. Now that is hard. If they don't, they will keep on doing what they are doing. When you're ready, you will do it and not feel guilty. It is a process, Kim, right? I think everybody goes through that. I think every single person, they have people that they have to pull away from. And it's not because you don't love them, but it's because you love yourself. That's something that I have to say to myself sometimes when I'm struggling to say no to something. I said, it's no because I love myself. And that's what you have to do sometimes. I'm saying no because I love myself and because this is the best decision for me. And we don't want to be known as having regret or being sad or feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, can't take it, have a mental breakdown, and then it starts affecting your health. No, got to make wise decisions for yourself. That is often how you find out how people truly feel about you, when you tell them no. Yeah, you find out what's the real, when someone says, I can't do it. Now, if they tell you off, cuss you out, you'll be like, But if they say, I understand, or what about another day? That's when you find out, okay, this person is really cares about me and they're here for me. Because if you tell somebody I'm feeling overwhelmed and they still, well, why can't you do it? Or it's only going to be a few minutes. They're still trying to talk you into it, even though that you have told them no. Those are the people that you have to learn to be very firm with, because Most people will push back and say, well, what about this time? And what about this? And what about this? And you have to say, it's still going to be no. Yeah. Light bulb moment in not wanting to feel that dissatisfaction and being treated differently, right? And we all want to be accepted. We all want to be accepted, but sometimes, what is the price you pay for everything? There is a price that you're paying. What are you able to sacrifice? Are you going to sacrifice your peace of mind? Are you going to sacrifice whatever it is? Your time, your money, something. There's always something that you're going to sacrifice, but it's up to us what we're going to choose to sacrifice. And sometimes we just have to learn to choose ourselves. You got to learn to choose yourself first. And that's that inner voice where you're speaking of love over yourself. I choose to love myself with this decision. Yeah, definitely for now. Yes, Miss Kim, those who expect it sometimes treat us the worst and get the most angry. Yeah. And those are the people that sometimes you have to pull back from those people, or some people you may have to let go of them, because some people just are toxic for us. We don't want to admit that sometimes, because we love them. We love them, but sometimes just because you love somebody, it doesn't mean somebody is good for you. Please, somebody learn that lesson. Just because you love them, it doesn't mean they love you. They could just be using you, just using you. So open your eyes, beware, and take care of yourself and love yourself, because you are worthy of peace of mind. You're valuable and important. So treat yourself as such. Yes, Charlene. Yes, you have to show people how to treat you. That way you get more respect and no disrespect. Yeah, you have to train people. Everything in life is a process. And I understand sometimes when you are transitioning into, your self-development and standing in your own personal truth and claiming who you are. Sometimes people get uncomfortable with the changes. When you start to begin to love yourself more, and you know your worth and your value, and you start prioritizing yourself, people get upset because you're not doing what you used to do. And then they say you changed. That's when you should smile. Say, yes, I have changed, because now I'm listening to my inner voice, because I'm listening to what God has for me. And you can't always please everybody, and you have to learn to be okay with that. You can't please people. Sometimes you have to please yourself. Or sometimes you have to please God, because some things is not you or other people. Sometimes it's what God has directed. It was hard. I went through this as a kid. It was hard, but she grew up and started doing for herself. I cried a lot, but I stuck to my guns. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to tell people no sometimes, especially if it's children, especially. Happy Sunday, James. How are you? Welcome. Hope you and your family are doing great. Thank you so much for being here. Join in on this discussion. That's a great statement, Marlene. I have to say no, because it's not the best thing for me. When people see we have value in ourselves, they begin to treat us with value as well. Right. And it's so true, because when I started going through therapy, I went in with my head, all the way down. Like, my self-esteem was probably this small. And when I started realizing who I am, who loves me, who I belong to, my value, my worth, and my beauty, and that my thoughts matter, and that I need to have people in my life that support that. And people, if they cannot support you in your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, if they can't respect you, then they don't deserve you. And that goes to all relationships, on the job, romantic, friendships, family. If somebody cannot respect you, respect your time, respect your thoughts, then really are they worth having in your life? You can make that choice. Yes, Boss Life Online. I had to do that with my brother, but saying yes was hurting me and not really helping him, but enabling him and making him more dependent instead of independent. Right. Yeah. You have to let people grow personally. And that's what I had to learn too. I had to learn that I had to grow up, and that meant pulling away from other people and learning to do things for myself, but also learning to say no to people that I've always said yes to. And it was very difficult. Yeah. It was very difficult for me. And I cried. Some of them I cried through. And people don't understand, because you love yourself, you're going to choose your self-love. You can do it, Ruth. I remember someone told me, you allow people to treat you bad. Yeah. And people will tell you, like, why do you keep making those decisions? Because you're hurting yourself. And you don't see it that way. But when you stand back and you start analyzing things, you have to make decisions about how you're going to treat yourself, because people will only treat you the way you allow them. If you don't allow people, if you pull back from them, you stop talking to them, you stop surrounding yourself from them, you stop doing things for them, you stop giving them money, trust me, it's going to end. Listen, when you no longer can serve people, if they no longer can use you, they're going to go away. Because they know they have nothing more to get. So you have nothing more to get from me. Nothing. If somebody cannot fill up your cup, somebody cannot fulfill you, make you feel happy, support you, love you, encourage you. If people do not boost you up and make you feel good about yourself, then what are they doing in your life? Those are the conversations you have to ask yourself. Does this person support me and love me and consider me? Do they respect me? Are they kind to me? Listen to that. It's telling you, but you got to pay attention to it. Yes, thank you, Kim. Appreciate that. I've learned that with some self-reliance is something that has to be taught. Yeah, sometimes you have to teach people, because I've had to do that before. I said, it's not like I'm going to stop being there for you, but I want you to be able to do some things for yourself. I will always be here to listen to you, but I know you can do this. I know you can do this. And because I love you, I have to make you become independent. That's the kind of conversation that you have with people, and people who really love you and care about you will respect you for that, because you are helping people to improve and be a better person. Maybe they may be mad, but it's okay. But you helping somebody by telling people they have the ability, they have the knowledge to do something. I'm helping you to grow personally. That's real love. That's really loving somebody, helping somebody, telling somebody, I see the potential in you and I know that you can do it. So I'm just waiting for you to do it. Sometimes we have to give people those growing and teaching lessons. We have to, sometimes we have to show people we believe in them when sometimes they may not believe in themselves, because I was there myself. I had those times where I didn't believe in myself enough, but I had somebody to tell me, someone to support me, someone who spoke it over my life. And it was a blessing for me, because I would have never thought that I could. And you just may need to have that conversation with somebody. You can do it. I'm here for you. I believe in you. Those are things that we have to feed into other people, because trust me, you're going to get it back. You put out that positive energy source. I believe in you. I care about you. I value you. Now you value yourself, and you can do it for yourself. Yes. This one, you have to show people how to treat you. That way you get more respect and no disrespect. Yeah. When you train people, it's always a training process. That's why my mom used to always say, never start any kind of relationship, friendship, romantic relationship on the job. How you start a relationship is how it's going to continue. If it starts off in disrespect, that's what's going to continue unless you end that. So immediately when something happens that you are not comfortable with, you are going to have to stop it and end it. Because if you don't, trust me, it won't be good. It's going to continue unless you end it. All right. Get rid of what doesn't serve you anymore. That goes for the person, place, or thing. Right, for now. So let me get back to, I think I have just a few more tips. Okay, I was on number 6. So I'm on 7 now. About the 10 tips for listening to your inner voice. Number 7, get curious about fleeting moments of insight. Your inner voice and intuition, even when matter of fact, are easy to ignore. They are subtle feelings, a quiet knowing, a gentle guidance system. They will not override your choices. You have to choose them. It's easy to brush over an aha moment, a wave of goosebumps, or a weirdly specific dream. But the more we learn to pay attention in those instances, the better we'll become at discerning and understanding them. So that means that you have to get curious, find out about what's going on, about the choices that you make. Tap into it. And that's why I always say it's so important to either journal, write it out, put it in your phone, have quiet moments by yourself, but you got to have time that you can tap into it and listen to what's going on with you. Do not ignore your inner voice. Number 8, mind your physical and mental health. So if you want to access your inner voice, you need to make sure your baseline needs are taken care of too. So that means get whatever emotional support you need from loved ones and professionals. Maintaining more balance in your physical body through a healthy diet, supplements, moderate exercise can help you feel well emotionally as well as spiritually. So when your system feels balanced, it can be easier for you to discern the difference between your inner voice and your emotional reaction. So we know that when we take care of our physical body, your mental health is going to follow. So that's why sometimes when you're not healthy physically, why you keep having the emotional breakdown and you're crying and all of these things. And it goes along with your spiritual side as well, because when you're not okay physically and emotionally, you cannot be okay spiritually. They all coincide, they all go together. So you have to take care of all of that by taking care of yourself. Take care of your physical health, because you are important. And that's going to help you to tap into your emotional inner voice. So number 9, spend time tech free. So that means turn off your TV, your phone. Don't try to force your inner voice to speak to you through noise. You hear this? Somebody. It's for somebody. Don't force your inner voice to shout to you, because sometimes that inner voice, it speaks very quietly. So unplug, like I said. Spend some time by yourself. No phone, no TV, just quiet, alone time. And this is the last one, guys. Number 10, practice being in flow states. So that means it's a state of being so involved in the work that you're doing or a task at hand that you lose track of time. So being in flow feels really good. That means that you give yourself time to let your mental space get what it needs. So giving yourself time to think about how wonderful you are, about the things that you have been through and how much you believe in yourself. Give yourself time to let those thoughts flow in your mind and come through. And that's going to help you also with the last one that was talking on number 8 that talked about minding your physical and your mental health. All of that goes together to make a better you. Let me see what's going on in the comments. Let's see. Here we are. This is a great topic. Thank you, Boss Life Online. I appreciate it. Yes, Gio, I love that. We teach others how to treat us. Definitely. Thank you for putting up my membership, Boss Life Online. Anyone is welcome to join my membership. Thank you. Merlene, and then add on perimenopause for me. Oh no. Yeah. You have to tune in and tap into yourself so that gotta take care of yourself. And you have to remember that if you don't value yourself, if you don't value your time, if you don't value yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, if you don't take care of all of the parts of you, how can you help other people? How can you be there for other people? How can you support other people? You have to learn to tap into that. Love yourself, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, your physical well-being. When you take care of all of that, if you're okay in all of that emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, when you're okay with that, you have time to listen to your inner voice, because it's going to tell you whether you're okay or not. Sometimes you're just not okay. And that's the time you need to listen to that. Unplug, spend some time by yourself, do some things for yourselves, practice some self-care, do something kind for yourself. I say that to everybody. It's not just women, it's men too. Do something kind and nice for yourself. Something that makes you happy, something that fulfills you, fills up your cup, makes you feel good about yourself. And you know what I'm going to add to that is practice some positive affirmations. I love myself. I can do this. I believe in myself. I am smart enough. I have wisdom. I have the ability to make good decisions. Good things are always going to happen for me. I have good things ahead for me. I believe in me. All of those things, you got to speak love and light over yourself, because if you don't turn up the light in your life, if you don't believe in your own self inwardly, you're not going to be okay here and here. We got to take care of all of the parts of ourselves to make a good whole self, a good well-being for ourselves. So I really have enjoyed this discussion so far. You guys let me know if there's anything that you want to add. I'm going to just go and recap all of the 10 tips for listening to your inner voice. Start with number 1. Create space in your life and schedule. Number 2, practice deep listening. Number 3, don't neglect self-care. Number 4, try journaling in the morning. Number 5, develop boundaries. Number 6, learn more about intuition. Number 7, get curious about fleeting moments of insight. Number 8, mind your physical and mental health. Number 9, spend tech-free time alone. And number 10, practice being in flow states. So here's the bottom line, guys. Whatever helps you to get in touch with your inner voice, do it, and do it often. It may seem easier to look for answers outside of others, but with a little patience, trust, and good listening skills, you'll be able to tune into your inner voice for guidance when you need it most. Yeah, it's been awesome. And this information from these 10 tips, I'm going to put it in the description box if you guys want to read it. And it comes from mindbodygreen.com. So let me go back to the chat. See if you guys said anything. No? Yeah, so I just want to thank everybody who came to the show today. This has been a great topic. I really enjoyed it. This was the topic. Listen to your inner voice. And I hope all of you guys will do that. I hope everybody will listen to that inner voice, have that conversation with themselves about loving themselves, about unplugging, about taking time for your emotional and mental well-being, learning to say no. All of those things are important to your well-being and making you feel fulfilled, because you are worthy enough. You are worthy enough and you deserve it. You deserve it. And that's something that we have to keep adding. Put yourself on the list. So many people go through their whole life and they never add themselves to the list. They're always putting other people ahead of them. Let's be a new generation and new people who know their worth. You know your worth. You know your value. So put yourself on the list. Love yourself today. Love yourself today. And that's my advice, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you so much for coming to the show today. Thank you always for your thoughts. I appreciate each and every one of you. And shout out to my mods that hold it down. Thank you to my moderators. Donna Just Being Real, Boss Life Online. Thank you so much, guys, and everybody else, because I can't see everything when I'm in StreamYards. If I miss anybody who is a moderator on my channel, thank you guys for holding it down and supporting me. Thank you, Kim, Paula. Yes, the Outstanding Featured Channel Member Show. It is back. We are in season 2 of the Outstanding Featured Channel Member Show. And if you guys don't know what it is when myself, Boss Life Online, Pandy's Hair, Candy, and More, Be Amazing Sylvia, is when we shout out all of the members of our channel. Each week we choose one of our members, and the host is going to say what they want to say about their member, but we also get some advice about what they think about the member, a video that they watched. So it's a great show, and it's going to be started in a few minutes. So I thank you so much, and I would appreciate if you guys would come to the show. It's every single Sunday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I thank you guys all for your time, and I will see you guys next week for the Outstanding Featured Channel Member Show. And as always, I got to tell you about my business, and it is CTFO. It's Changing the Future Outcome, and it is a work from home business. It's free to start. The information will always be in the description box. I will always welcome you guys. So I thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next show. Thanks guys for coming. You too, guys. Have a great week ahead.
encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know